Hi, this is Dan here. Hope you're doing really well. Two players I absolutely love are Willie Weeks and Joe Dart. And I was listening to Everything is Everything, the live version by Donny Hathaway, and you've got that amazing bass solo at the end of it by Willie Weeks. And I was also listening to a bit of Joe Dart, and there's so many similarities in their playing. So in this lesson, it's going to be a bit random. I'm just going to sort of play some stuff and then show you what I'm doing. And it's a little bit similar to the way they play. Joe Dart, to me, he's like a modern day soul blues player that's with a little bit of Jacko infused, and it comes out just sounding like himself. He's amazing. But we've got one chord really in this backing track that I've got. You can download that for free. I recommend doing that so you can practice some of these ideas. So we got E. That's an E dominant 7th arpeggio. You've got a root, major 3rd, 5th, flat 7 and octave. In the Everything is Everything solo, Willie Weeks starts off with this sort of octave, a root 5th octave. There's a few ideas that I noticed that he uses and a lot of great players use, and that's repetition. So in that solo, when he's finding something that he likes, and I don't know it exactly, so I'm just going to make some things up. And so here, look, I'm doing a major figure here. One thing about blues that's always sort of thrown me, and it's so weird, but that's what makes it so cool, is that it's ambiguous. We've got an E7, like I said, E dominant 7th, and we've got E major pentatonic scale. So that would be fret 7, 9 and 11 on the A string, 9 and 11 on the D string. That's 5 notes, pentatonic. You can make little riffs up using just that scale. If you add, both these players use a lot of articulations, little slides, bluesy notes, inflections. The 2nd and 3rd notes of this scale, there's a note in between that. Sounds really bluesy. You can bend the second note. Whoops. A little bit of vibrato there. There I'm going. Sliding from the 2nd note to the 3rd note. It's fret 9 to 11. Then fret 9 of the D string. Using my 3rd finger so that I can catch that note with my 1st finger. And slide back down, same way. And I think the reason that a lot of people love Joe Dart and Willie Weeks and players like that is there's so much flair and soul in their playing, and also funk. And this comes from having a really, really excellent sense of timing. Part of that's down to working with your metronome. Great musicians, great drummers, that helps, but also backing tracks, things like that. So download this one. So we've got the major pentatonic scale works. Mixolydian mode. That's where this chord comes from. But here's the weird thing. What also works, the minor pentatonic also works over this. And sometimes you can fit in a little bit of Dorian mode, and it shouldn't work, but it sort of does work over this. And you get this presence of a minor and a major at the same time, and you get that sort of tension that blues often encapsulates. Here's a really common thing that highlights that idea. So you've got the E. On the 5th fret of the D, with a minor third. 1 fret higher, you have a major third. A little hammer on or a slide from the minor to the major third is a very common blues soul sound. So I'm just doing a little slide from the 5th to the 6th fret, the minor third to major third, back to the root note. 2 frets lower than the root note, that's the 5th fret of the A, the D, the note D, that's the flat 7th of the chord. That sounds really good. That's a really good note to play. That is... That's a minor blues. That's a major blues. I've got PDFs of this and patterns, and what I'll do is I'll put a link below to a blog post where I'll put all these shapes in one place so that you can just learn them. It's going to take a bit of time if you're new to this sort of language and you're new to this, if you're new to bass, but honestly it's not that difficult, and this handful of scales is going to allow you to play just so much music that I really recommend. I'm going to just play some minor bluesy stuff and major bluesy stuff at the same time, see what that sounds like. Okay, we'll start the track now, again. I settled on a little lick there. There's your very classic, standard cliched E minor pentatonic. You can bend that 14th fret up a semitone. And that's a minor blues thing. So I was just going. There's a little bend from fret 14, just one semitone up. Bend it back. Fret 12 and then 14. Let's add the D in, 12th fret. Okay, there's the root, the E. So 2 frets higher than that E is the major second. So I'm just moving into a little bit of major blues now. So that second note, the one that's on the 12, 13, 14, 16th fret of the D, that one, you can bend that one up a semitone. So I'm going like a major thing here, interchanging major and minor, and that works. What about Joe Dart things? I mean, you can't sum up what these great players do in the short video that I'm going to do today. Maybe I'll branch out. Maybe I'll do a little bit more of this. Do let me know, by the way, if you want more of this. But there's that one beastly Joe Dart solo, very similar to the more relaxed, sedate Willie Weeks version. Here we got the root, the E. We've got a root, a 5th, minor 7th, octave. Played in a very, very funky short way. A lot of that's coming down with to the fretting hand controlling the note length, and a very sort of rigid alternate plucking going on. He does that a lot, lots of fast runs, and that's just down to speed and stamina. To play that fast, bizarrely enough, you have to slow things down, okay? So you've got to get your metronome out, you've got to make sure your technique is right. There I just went, I'm just running down a blues scale, a minor blues scale, so that's fret 9 and 7 on the G, and then 9, is that right? Yeah, 9, 8, 7 on the D, 10, 7 on the A. And just, alternate plucking all the way there. Joe Dart does that sort of stuff quite a lot. That kind of thing. So I'm just doing a hammer on, 12 to 14 on the G. Fairly simple. Then this is the key to getting it this fast. We've got raking from fret 12 on the G to fret 14 on the D. I'm not tabbing this, by the way, I'm making this up as I go. After that rake, I'm using my middle finger for the 12th fret of the D. And then alternating from 12 on the G to 14 on the D. It's weird to explain this as I'm just making it up. Just using a minor pentatonic scale for the notes. If you infuse some blues notes into that, and that's just, you add a flat 5 into a minor pentatonic scale, you have a blues scale. Simple as that. You organize these notes into phrases. So you just take, a few notes. That's it. That's a phrase. That's a phrase that's a little bit developed. Now I'm going to go. I'm using slides. I'm just using all of these sort of inflections and articulations to infuse a bit of flair, infuse a bit of soul into the playing, because that's how you bring the cold concepts of, scales and arpeggios and things like that to life. If you play them just scales, it's just going to sound like that. But I very much am using scales, and so is Joe Dart, so is Willie Weeks, but it's how you play it and the tone that you have as well. Joe Dart's got that really cheap Fender Squier, hasn't he? He's got the jazz bass, and obviously Willie Weeks has got some sort of very old precision. I'm using a 1982 Ibanez Rhodes. I always get confused. Roadster. Some people call it a Roadstar, but there you go. I've got the pickups right in the middle, so I've got a P and a J here. Not really too bothered about the bass. I could play any of the bass and it's going to sound roughly the same. That's a Mixolydian mode, so that's the minor 7th. You can target that note. Just did a lesson on Memphis Soul Stew. It's part of the same language, the soul blues thing that you get. So I'm just coming down a scale there. And then just adding in that minor third. And if you do that, you get this sort of ambiguous minor major thing. You tend to sound authentic. And if you go through that Willie Weeks bass line, that solo, you might need to watch this lesson again. I've got another one on soul patterns, which I'll link to. And if you learn a few of those, so that's just a chromatic walk up from the major third to the 5th, you will recognize these. Once you learn them, you study them, you internalize them. When you listen to music and you want to figure something out by ear, you'll actually start to hear it. I'm going to play again, see what happens. Right there, I was playing an open E. That's just a major blues. So I was going E, 2nd fret, 3rd fret, 4th fret, with a little hammer on from fret 3 to 4. 2, 4, 2 on the A, and 2 E's on the D string. And that is just the same scale. Just starting from the 2nd fret of the D string. It's very important that you know a scale in lots of different ways, in lots of different directions, so that you're not just bound to one place. This is all major stuff. And again, moving to this familiar shape up here. So without wanting to make this video last an hour, which I probably could just by playing different shapes, what you would want to do is to memorize a few of these, organize them into phrases, start to get your fingers used to the shapes and the patterns, start to get your ear, that's really important, mapped out as well. You want to know that sound is gonna, which is a root to a flat 7, is gonna create that sound. Download the backing track, maybe go through the video again, experiment, go through it, and then maybe listen to a few of these references, especially that Everything is Everything solo, and you will start to hear this, okay? And just, it's really about having fun. So just maybe pick one or two things. If you're new to this and it's a bit overwhelming because I've thrown a lot of stuff at you, which I have done, just take one idea. You know, the root to the minor, major, third thing. Just take that. You can be as sparse as possible, and as long as your tone is good and you're in time, that's perfect. That's all you need. Thanks very much for watching. Please do subscribe. I do 2 videos every week, so, you know, loads more lessons like this. Thanks very much. See you next time.